Hey, Wendy, are you with us? Uh-oh, looks like she got frozen. Uh-oh, there she is. Hey, Wendy.
Hey!
You got
Wow! Guess what time it is?
I think
It's
it might be Thursday. Maybe we take a breath.
absolutely. I'm going to tell you, I need to take a breath today. It has been one of those days. Have you ever had one of those days where the only thing that you think might help is a chocolate bar?
Oh, ever have a day like that? Well, yeah, I think most days are like that. I know. My day started at a 5 a.m. meeting. I don't know, ladies, if you had a and you had to be on camera. It meant, the hair was curled and not in curlers and makeup on. I'm like,
Oh,
I'm like, oh my gosh, this is almost too much.
I know, and I love our theme today. I am in control. So, we kind of talked about some things, and let me just tell you how I thought I was in control today. I'm in the middle of teaching a class, we're rocking along, and there goes my internet. Lost my internet. It tells me I have no IP address. Nobody else in the building has had problems with their internet. I'm down for an hour and a half.
Yeah, it is. It's about us being too effective. But that's the power of teams, isn't it? Because right there with you, I could just step right in, and being able to have that backup is just so important.
Yeah, but here it is. Have you ever felt like you think you're in control? I mean, this last week has been a kick in the pants for me. I had 2021 strategy. I'm ready to go, and now I got to throw it all in the trash and start all over.
I know. Well, the truth is, really, isn't it, that there is only one person who's in control, and guess what? It isn't us.
No, it isn't.
As much as we would like to think that it is, and no matter how hard we try, it is about holding things loosely. And I
Uh,
think that's what I was saying today while you were trying to get connection is that that we can't grasp, right? We can't grasp a plan, but we have to hold it loosely because guess what? Things are going to change.
Well, Deborah, in the Identity and Destiny, I'm a D in the DISC profile, meaning I like to get things done, right? I like to have a plan and a backup plan, and I do this at work and from my family, and I think I've got to have this all figured out, and we're going to do this here and then, and we're going to do that then, and then your internet goes out, or we've got all these expectations, right, for
Boy,
everything.
and I'm going to tell you, when our expectations aren't met, it's not very pretty. It just isn't, right? Because when things don't go down the highway that I have built, now I become irritated when something wants to take an off ramp or that there's a stop sign where I didn't expect it to be. And so now I get irritated and I'm frustrated. And sometimes it just becomes really discouraging. And we just think, why am I even trying?
Oh, and as an entrepreneur, I mean, talk about even more so. I've got timelines, and I've got a plan. I'm going to send these emails, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to follow up with this, and then a hiccup, or oh, I don't know, COVID-19 hits, and I get locked in my house, and I can't go out networking anymore, or I coughed, and so I need to stay home for 2 weeks to quarantine myself. And as an entrepreneur, this is tough. We make these plans. Okay, so all right, ladies, I might be the only one. Whoever feels like this, you'll have to let me know in the chat box. But that I feel like I've got to make the plan, and God's entrusted me with this business, and so I have to do all of this stuff. which of course is the first problem, right?
I know it's that word I, me,
You noticed
mine.
that, did you?
Yeah, like I own it. Yeah, it's all about mine. And sometimes I forget to check in with the real owner to find out what his plans are for the day. I just kind of go off onto my own little
Uh-huh.
agenda. Yeah, thinking that this is what's going to happen. But then he, can stop things right up short and say, "Wait a minute, let's talk about this a minute. I've got a different idea."
Yeah. And that's so true. I forget. I think it was one of our life groups. We were talking, or I think it was, and someone had made the comment that they start their day with, "Hello, Father, I'm listening.
Love that.
What would you like for me to do today?" And I don't know, Deborah. I moved my office recently, so my post-it note is gone. I actually had a post-it note saying that up on my screen to remind me to not start my day going, "Wendie, I'm going to do this." Instead saying, "Okay, Lord, Father, well, I'm listening. What would you like me to do today?"
I'm laughing because I wake up in the morning, and when I wake up, I start off with, "This is the day the Lord has made. I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it." And then I start off with, "Okay, well, here's what I got to get done today. I got to hit the floor running." I don't want to be sitting up
I'm
there
seeing
laughing at
a
me.
conflict there. I don't know, ladies. Do you notice a conflict with this? I notice a conflict.
Oh, that is so funny. Wow. Well, Wendy, we always come up with a few talking points around this topic. And what I love is that we can poke fun at ourselves, and we can look at it, and we can say, "Okay, Lord, we're trying to be better, and we got the message. What can we do about this? How can we make a difference in the way that we look at these things?" So the first talking point we had about this today was that there is a difference between our plan and God's plan. Who has the wheel of our lives?
Ooh. Well, I always tell this story about how I like to be in the passenger seat. I know that the Lord is in the driver's seat of my life. But sometimes I just like to say, "Well, here, let me just rest my hand on the wheel here in case you need my help." Now, I don't know if you've ever been driving a car and had somebody touch the steering wheel. Okay, what's going to end up happening? You're going to end up in the ditch, okay? Because it's pretty much what I do whenever I think. And this is the problem. We think that we've got to help God and
Oh,
help him drive. And I just picture him going, "Oh, you're so precious, honey. Could you just move your hand for me? I've got this."
well, and not only with God, but I think about other people in my life that He's placed there to help me. And yet, and yet, thank you, but I got this. and and then I go in a corner and go, "I have to do this all by myself. It's all about me. I need help." And yet when I look at who's there that he brought alongside, oh my gosh, I just think, "Deb, you've got to, give it up. Give it up." Really, it's back to that release and let go again. How do I hold it lightly? How do I make room for others? How do I let other people be able to use their gifts and skills, their talents, their abilities that can help me to do these things? That I'm keeping them from blessing me and fulfilling what God asked them to do. I'm standing in the way of that.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's that, and the thing is we we tend to close our fist around some of this stuff pretty firmly. I don't know about you. My family, my finances, my career, just everything. And
Yes.
and we've got our fist just right tight on it. But then, just like you said, but we start, "Here, Lord, I'm listening with my fist closed around what I think I'm supposed to do."
Go right ahead. I've already got a plan.
That's right. So again, now ladies, you need to put in the chat box if you've ever felt this way, or if you have struggled with this. Maybe it's just Debra. Debra, you and I might be the only ones. It could be just us.
Well, there wouldn't that be a sad thing that we're sitting here admitting to it, that we are the ones that we have this. I love
Yeah.
what Alice is saying. Letting go is a challenge. Trusting God. We want control, plans, systems. That's so right, Alice. We do. It is hard. It is hard. And I think that as women, we have that desire to be in that control somehow or another.
And
Wow.
it's such a false sense of security. I mean, talk about
Well, it's
I
doomed
mean,
for disaster is what it is.
well, and it's again, could we tell ourselves a bigger lie?
Probably because we've got talking point number 2. When things go right, it's because we are that good.
Okay, you couldn't even finish that statement with a straight face. I don't know if you picked up on that.
I couldn't. You're right. Oh, how often do we go without thinking about God's glory, that He makes it possible, that His hand is in it, that He's moved things out of the way, that He's helped us to achieve the things that He set out for us so long ago to do. And it's not in our strength and our might or even in our will. It's not about willpower making that happen. It really is God's hand.
Well, that is so true, Deborah. And the other part is when things do go right, you're talking about, well, I pushed through and I did that, instead of glory be to God that
That's
He
right.
cleared the obstacles so that I could move forward and complete that task. We forget, I think sometimes we rush to, when we can't, say, well, it was God's will that I didn't get that or do that. And, we're quick to do that. But when it does go right, I don't know that we're always as quick to say, that's all God's glory. I didn't succeed at anything. I was the vessel for His success.
Exactly right. And Wendy, it's about when things don't go the way they should, do we stop and assess what's the lesson I'm supposed to learn here? What is it that God didn't want me to do, or what was He protecting me from? What was God's desire in this particular circumstance, so that it's not about a plot against me succeeding. And it is about what is within what's in his plan for us.
Oh, absolutely. So let's go to talking point 3. You just said it. God knows what's best for me. Okay, again, ladies, I may be the only one who occasionally thinks that I know what's best for me. And I act accordingly, which is even worse. Because we only see what's right in front of us. God sees everything. And that's just different. You make different decisions when you can see more. As an entrepreneur, we have to we make all these projections and we make all these assumptions and we're thinking ahead, but we can only see what we can see. And we make those decisions based on that. Well, just imagine that God sees it all and He is directing based on that, where talk about walking with blinders on. We can barely see a pinhead and He sees the whole universe.
It's interesting because we were talking about it today with our students that were completing their business plans, about the difference between known and the unknown. And what we really do is make plans for what we can see and can understand right at the moment. And hopefully we've got God's input in what we're doing with that. I know sometimes we walk away from that, but it is about a walk of faith and trust that whatever it is into the unknown, that the Lord has that part for us, and that we can do that confidently and say, I don't see it. I don't know what that means. I don't know where I'm going. It's dark. It's not clear to me. It doesn't seem to be revealed. But because I have confidence in you, Lord, I can walk ahead and not worry about any dangers that I may perceive are ahead of us right now.
Absolutely, and I love this. When you and I were kind of prepping for this, one of the statements that we saw was God has the eternal perspective. We talk about what we can see, and we think, like in dimension of time, right now, I can see right now. Well, he can see 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. We make forecasts. He doesn't have to forecast anything. He knows exactly where it's going to go.
Yep.
And I think that that's part of that release and let go of your expectations too, because he does have the eternal perspective. And maybe completing that task that I have on my to-do list today is going to create a different effect on that eternal perspective. It's not meant to be done today or meant to be done by me or maybe meant to be done that way. And I love that, when we were talking with the entrepreneurs this morning in class, I know that they're right now going through that financial projections and putting their business plan together. They're getting ready to graduate in a couple of weeks, and we just, part of what they did today is, part of the homework, if you will, is prayer and fasting. Mm-hmm. To seek God's will.
Well, it's one of my favorite parts of the course is when we get to this week and really discovering through Exodus and hearing God's plans and details that he wants to share with us through that part of the study. And just how detailed it is. So if you haven't read Exodus 25 in a few years, I would recommend that you pull it open and ask God about his plans for your life or your business and start reading through it. And you will see the detail and how God is prepared for every intricate piece, not only of our lives, but of our business as well. And we'd love to hear from you if something is revealed.
Absolutely.
That would be great as well.
Well, I think too, as an entrepreneur, it comes back to that holding things with an open hand. We talked about the fist, we talked about holding on to it this way, but having it with an open hand, because God has entrusted us with his business, to steward his business. He's given us our purpose. If you're sitting there listening to this podcast going, I really don't have any idea what my purpose is. I really don't know where I need to be going next. Identity and destiny is a great opportunity for you to do that. But we talk about holding it with an open hand. The Lord has called us for a purpose. He's given us the business. And yes, we do need to take action. We do need to do the work. But I think for me, what really hit me today was what I'm opening my hand on are the expectations. I do the work, but the expectations is what I'm releasing and allowing God to work in my business and in my life. That I do what he's called, but I don't, it's just a different perspective.
It is a different perspective. It reminds me of Dr. Charles Stanley, to be obedient, to do what God asks us to do, and then leave all the consequences up to him. And if we are, we plan and do what we think we can, but after we've done what we can do, then it's up to God for what those actions are, as long as we're obedient to the things that he's asked us for.
So true. Well, ladies, we want to get down to some scriptures for you. We always like to bring some scriptures. We do talk and giggle a little bit, mainly poking fun at ourselves, because sometimes, Deborah, I think I don't know. You've heard the saying "stinking thinking." Some weeks I think I've got a little bit more stinking thinking going on than others. But let's go to some scripture. Let's start with Deuteronomy 8:17 and 18. You may say to yourself, "My power and the strength of my hands have produced this wealth for me." But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth, and so confirms His covenant, which He swore to your forefathers, as it is today.
Mm.
Wow.
Now, I tell you, Wendie, this is one that I have on my whiteboard as a reminder each day for me to try to put God, get me out of the way and put God in the right place, right? Because it is Him who gives us the ability to produce. And it is a very powerful reminder.
So true. So true.
Well, our second one that we had was from Psalms 1, 7, and 8. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and your going, both now and forevermore. Wow, what a peace that gives us, isn't it?
Wow, that is so true. The other thing that, we've kind of joking around about holding on to control, thinking we're in control, and remembering that God is. But this scripture just really brings home the fact that not only is He in control of everything in the world, but He's in control of our lives too, our safety, our wealth, our opportunities, our family. He's in control of all of it. And just like the Father, just as we are mothers to our children, and we do not want to see any harm come to them, we want the best for them. Well, our Heavenly Father does the same for us. And I think sometimes we forget that. We get so caught up. We forget that He is our Father. Therefore, He loves us as we love our children. It's not any different as our Heavenly Father.
It is so true, and He only wants the best for us. He wants us to. He wants to give us good things, and He wants good things to happen for us as well. And so, like I said, this gives me a lot of peace, and it puts a smile on my face, and it means that whatever it is, whatever difficulties or challenges that come my way, even when I'm disappointed about the outcome, that He is watching over my life. He's watching over every piece of it, and He has it. I don't have to worry about it. I have to just turn it over and let him have His way. I love that.
Well, and
Well,
I love how it is for now and forever.
that's
That's
right.
the other thing. A lot of times we think, well, I make mistakes and I've sinned, or I go down the wrong path, and I think that He's no longer watching over me. And I love that statement. It's now and forever. He never turns His eye away from us.
That's right. You can count on Him. Others may come and go, loyalties may change, but He is constant and consistent. And I love that. I love that the most, that I don't have to worry that He's going to abandon me or leave me, no matter what the circumstances, whether I deserve it or not. He's not going to walk away from me. Yeah. Well, let's talk about Job. I love this thing. This verse from Job 22:21. Okay, starts off with yield now and be at peace with him. Thereby good will come to you. Oh my goodness, yield and do it now. I thought of that big yellow yield sign that we see on the highway, right? Give way, allow, be at peace with God and allow Him to do His work. And that good will come as a result of that.
That's so true. And we've spent, we're going on 12 months now. We're getting pretty close to 12 months of chaos and so much since COVID and here in the US, the social unrest and all of that. We spent so much time in that place that I really get a lot from yield now and be at peace with Him. the rest of the world can be a hot mess, but we can be at peace with him. My business can be struggling. I can be, overwhelmed, but it says yield now and be at peace with him.
Wendie, I have to admit that when we had the new year and everybody was saying, oh, finally, 2020 is behind us. It was such a horrible thing. And I'm just so glad that's over and we can look forward to ahead. And I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't that it wasn't a challenging time, and many people lost businesses, lost family members, that they weren't sure about their jobs and other things that went on. But I personally did not ever feel that I was in a panic or that I was worried, and I praise God for that. I mean, I really did feel at peace that something was, and I still have expectations of what God is going to be revealing, that this didn't happen without a purpose behind it, that we haven't seen it yet. We don't know what it is, but that there is sort of a calmness and a peace. And I've been reluctant to share that because I think that I don't want others to think that I haven't been aware or that I'm not concerned about the welfare of. But I do believe that we can have peace in the midst.
That's so true. And I have to say, I've watched quite a few individuals and entrepreneurs thrive in 2020.
That's right.
And it's mostly because it was as if God just swept the obstacles out of their way. Their thinking was, I can only go this direction. I have to do what I've always done and keep doing what I've always done, even though I'm watching it not working. And I've watched them have to pivot in a way that has just seen tremendous fruit for them. Things that they thought that they could never accomplish because of what has happened over the last year. It has changed the hearts and mind of their board, of their supporters, in a way that allowed them to bring in new opportunities and new processes and change and thrive in a way that they would not have before. I think even about Nehemiah project and how we pivoted a little bit, just going everything online instead of live. But by doing that, the blessings that we saw from that reduced expenses and allowed us to do things. So I agree with you. I think it was a challenge, but God was in control of all of that. And I agree. I saw a lot of good things come from that as well.
Well, I think what you're talking about here is, Wendie, is that having control, thinking we had control over processes, systems, and outcomes, and now and things that ideas or opportunities that we may not have taken advantage of previously now forced us to do things differently. Mm-hmm. And to show that we're not in control at all, and allows us to have a more ability to think more freely and more, expectantly, and utilizing ideas and things that we would never even have considered, but that blessings are behind them.
Absolutely.
It's been a ride.
It has. And so, ladies, if you're struggling out there, your business is struggling, you would like to have an opportunity, maybe get a business needs assessment and talk with a coach. We do have that opportunity available. Debra and I are here for you. We're here to walk this out with you, to walk alongside you. This is where God has placed us. This is the assignment He has given us So please, we encourage you. We'll make sure we put the link for a needs assessment in the chat box so you can do that. We also have our identity and destiny. If you've had to pivot and not sure where to go, please join us on February 23rd for our next identity and destiny class. We encourage you. You want to hear some testimonials about that. There are some just powerful things that's happened. Well, ladies, it has been a pleasure to hang out with you for 30 minutes. It is a joy to hang out with Miss Debra and us get to laugh and giggle and poke fun at ourselves a tad bit. But at the end of the day, it's time to remember, look to the Lord and his strength. Seek his face always. First Chronicles 16:11. We hope you have a blessed week, and we will see you next Thursday. Have
Thanks
a great
for joining us. Have a great weekend.